Hello, you guys. Welcome back to Channel Claire. I hope that you're doing well wherever you are in this crazy, crazy world. So, I've been on Twitter and I feel like here recently, Blake and Ryan are literally forcing themselves into our faces. And it's not by accident. It's very clear that they are not going to be backing down. They are going to keep on showing us that everything is okay in their world, trying to make it seem like that at least. And so they're out and about doing these events together where their body language is being dissected. Of course, they're out and about. Blake is wearing beautiful gowns, I will admit. She looks great. Ryan, on the other hand, looks haggard. He looks like he's taking on the brunt of most of it, while Blake looks fresh and beautiful. She doesn't have a wrinkle, a blemish on her face, nothing. The girl looks good. Ryan, on the other hand, has these deep bags under his eyes. The stress is all over his face. So while they want to be out and about, acting like everything is okay, doing these photo ops, kissing, holding hands, it's all showing on Ryan's face what's actually going on behind the scenes. So don't be fooled. Although I don't think you are being fooled at all, because all of this is very transparent. So they're at the Times 100 Gala event where Blake makes this really awkward speech about her mother and her unfortunate events that's happened in her life. And everybody behind Blake, if you're watching it, you could see everybody's faces. They kind of look like they're disassociating, wishing they weren't there. Excuse me. It seems like they're just associating, wishing they weren't there. It's just awkward. You feel like this tension, like you should not be doing this at this moment. Like nobody really wants to hear from you, Blake. Especially since you just came off of this movie with heavy themes of DV, and in your press rounds, you were asked in an interview if you had anything or if you had experienced anything close into relation to this DV theme that was in the movie It Ends With Us, and your reply was no, that you were fortunate enough not to have experienced anything like that. Yet, in this Times 100 speech that you shoved down our throats, you were regaling a tale of your mother in an unfortunate event, which would be right in line with the DV themes of It Ends With Us. So it's like, what do we believe, Blake? Because these are things coming out of your mouth. Did you experience anything close in relation to what was happening in It Ends With Us, or did you not? Because you said in the interview that you hadn't, yet you're making this speech like you have. So it's just very interesting how inconvenient that she's getting honored as a person of the year for donating to the NAACP only, like back in 2018, only because she got married at a plantation and got wild backlash for that, as she should have. So now Blake is running around in beautiful gowns with Ryan with beady eyes looking crazy, and they're out here together trying to make it seem like everything is okay. They were out at this Wrexham game. I just saw that Blake was at the premiere for Another Simple Favor with Anna Kendrick. Anna, yet again in this premiere, looks miserable standing next to Blake Lively. I'll show you some pictures. But I'm sitting here thinking, like, what is their strategy? Is it that, okay, we're just not going to disappear from in front of their faces? We're not going to go run and hide so that it makes it seem like we did something wrong. Instead, we're going to be going to all these events and have our faces seen everywhere so people think that, everything's good. We're not hiding because we have nothing to hide and we're not guilty. And they're trying to give off the space of like, we're just living our lives as the way we would because we're not affected by any of this because we're in the right. I don't think that it's working like they are hoping that it will, because people are still heavily annoyed by the presences at this event. I mean, Meghan Kelly herself, not that I like Meghan Kelly, but like she was real bold. She was asked in an interview about Blake's presence at the Time 100 event, and she was pretty much like, she does not deserve to be here. She was just so blunt about it. She was like, she does not deserve to be here. I don't know why they're here, but I'm not going to be avoiding her. If anything, she's going to be avoiding me on this carpet. So she was just very real with it. It'll probably be the only thing I agree with Meghan Kelly on, but I just don't understand. I would feel so like being in a room with your peers of people who like think that you are this person who has lied about SA or SH, and you're just walking around like nothing fucking happened. That takes a lot of fucking gall and audacity. I will tell you, a lot of. But as I was wondering what their strategy is, I did come across this post that kind of breaks down their PR strategy and explains what it is that they're trying to do in the public to psychologically fuck with us into possibly them still being able to maintain their public image in some way and be able to rehab it and still be able to work in this industry. I don't know if it's going to work. I really don't. Because at this point, everybody thinks they're liars and trying to take out Justin Baldoni for no reason or for to be an executive producer. It's ridiculous. Okay, so this comes off of Twitter by an account called Ashley Brienne Eve. It seems as if she is an independent investigative journalist and or PR strategist person, but she kind of broke it down for us here. And she cites the name of this strategy that Blake and Ryan are doing as Flood the Zone. Okay, so Flood the Zone. Why does it feel faker but works better than their earlier stunts? So the early attempts were the donut shops. Remember, Blake was seen in this donut shop just like standing there being weird. Random sightings. Those were too small and too obvious. They looked planted. You remember there was Ryan going out. He was trying to get autographs. He was giving autographs to people. And everyone had the same pen, the same poster. It just felt very, very staged. So she's saying those early attempts were too small and they were too obvious. So now what they're doing is stacking high credibility events like the Time of Hundreds, Wrexham, and a movie premiere back to back to back, creating an avalanche effect. So then the public perception in psychology means volume beats suspicion, meaning we're seeing them so much, they're not hiding, so they must be innocent. Whereas Justin Baldoni, we really haven't seen him in a minute. There were some TMZ paparazzi that were spotting them out and about, like on family vacations and stuff, but I haven't really seen much of him in a minute. So, and of course, they literally have been in our faces, all online, Blake in her beautiful gowns, Ryan making these weird, awkward faces, standing over to the side. Like, he's just... It's really him who is, like, powering down. Like, I don't know if Blake is feeling any stress because she does not look like it. But Ryan, my goodness, like, he's aged. It's unbelievable. So, she says, if you see it once, you question it. If you see it 100 times from a different angle, you normalize it. Essentially, they're running a Flood the Zone PR blitz with SEO inoculation using engineered natural moments to create public fatigue and reset narrative normalization. Wow. That's deep. That's deep. So it says, essentially, they're running a Flood the Zone PR blitz with SEO inoculation using engineered natural moments to create public fatigue and reset narrative normalization. So we're seeing them as these normal celebrities again, like we typically did before all of this happened, right? And we're seeing them at all these high profile events and they're hoping it resets the narrative in some way. But I just don't see how that's going to take place. They're in too deep. We've seen too much. She continues, this is a very popular tactic in politics, but in crisis situations, it's a little risky. Well, the other option is they go away for a year. I've said that would have been my strategy all along. But there must be a strategic reason why they won't. And the only thing I can think is to keep up appearances in Hollywood with power players within Hollywood that has been determined to be more important than social media. So they're like, fuck it, we still need to be able to have our place in the industry, to be able to go to these events, shake hands, and kiss babies with the elite. Like, that matters more to them than getting bashed on TikTok after video after video after video. And so now they're taking it to, we're still here, bitches. You're gonna see us everywhere. Insane. There's a psychology to this PR shit. So, and then she says, and I will stand by none of their PR right now being intended to sway those on Justin's side so it can work with the general public if you flood enough. Staunchly already believing that Justin was in the right and he's innocent. What Blake and Ryan are doing is not going to faze them much. But if you're just a casual viewer, you don't really know what's going on, you see something about Justin and Blake Lively, you don't really see Justin much in the media or in the press. So, oh, he's hiding. He must be the one who is in the wrong. Versus I see Blake and Ryan everywhere. So, like, they're obviously the innocent ones. I see what they're playing at. Very, very interesting. I don't know if it's going to work because there's a vast majority of people who see through this, and then definitely hearing Megyn Kelly get up on camera, and I know they had to have seen it, but she was like not having it at all. So it's going to be interesting to see what takes place. Of course, they still have like close to a year before all of this, their trial starts in March of 2026, I believe. So there's quite a bit of time from now to then. So are we just going to keep seeing them? How is Justin and his PR team going to strategize once they see what Blake and Ryan are up to and what they're planning? So I love watching it. I love watching it go down. And then just one more tidbit on this whole Blake and Ryan thing. They're really trying to use framing in a lot of ways at this point, because I was watching this TikTok and this lady was talking about how Blake was giving her speech about her mother and how she was violently attacked, and you know, something happened to her that should never happen to a woman, and just the way that it was framed and phrases and the way it was worded, I guess it was assumed that the attack was done by a man. I assumed. I guess I shouldn't have assumed, but there was other people assuming as well. But apparently it was another woman that attacked Blake's mom, and it was an acquaintance at work. So it's very interesting how it was framed versus what the reality is. Obviously, being attacked by a man or a woman is still an awful thing, but it's just interesting how it was phrased given the scenario that Blake and Ryan find themselves in with this lawsuit with Justin and what the claims were that Blake Lively had against him. So they're very crafty. They're trying to be crafty, at least. I don't know if it's doing them any good. It might be doing them more harm, because a lot of people are picking through what it is that they're doing. People are no longer clueless to PR, you know? There are PR strategists on TikTok who tell us the inside scoop and the details and what they would do in this situation if they were crisis PR hired for this celebrity X, Y, and Z. So it's like, it's not hard to see through what they're doing. So then it kind of makes it seem like icky, whereas a lot of people think that they should just go away for a little bit. But as that creator said that I was reading the PR strategy, there must be a reason why it's more valuable for them to stay in our faces and look awkward and do all of that versus just go away and handle it behind scenes. So I don't know. But the next thing I wanted to kind of chat about was Meghan Markle, because she did her first podcast episode and I wasn't expecting this, and it was from a creator that I've never really heard of. My mom sent it to me. Again, she's just always staying. As I was saying, my mom always stays up on things, so thank you for sending it to me. But seeing her do this podcast, and let me make sure I get the creator's name right, because she got the dang on thing. The first podcast done by Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex, Jamie Kern Lima, I had never heard of her. So this is her first podcast interview. Both of them are sporting fresh faces, no makeup, and I have to say, Meghan looks beautiful without makeup. Like, it just, makeup complements her beauty. She has barely a blemish, and yes, I know that's a lot of money also that goes into that, skincare products and all of that, but also some of it is just, natural born given beauty. So I also think that's why people hate a lot, because when shit is effortless like that, it gets underneath the skin of sometimes people who may not have it as easy, But it's also really interesting that I saw, of course, there was clips of the podcast on Twitter, and then People Magazine, who covers Meghan quite a bit, they're also taking, different quotes that she had and made articles out of it. And underneath those posts, it had like hundreds of likes and hundreds of comments. And it would be people just talking about her horribly, right? Yet saying that they don't care. Who cares? Why does this matter? How is this news? Yet they're taking the time to click on it and comment on it. And they're like speaking about it as if they took the time to watch the interview. Yet at the same time saying how awful she is, how she's a narcissist, how nobody cares about her, she's a liar, all of these things, yet still following her every move. It is so crazy. Look up underneath the People magazine. When it comes to them talking about Meghan Markle, they will always get the engagement that they want, the clicks and the views. And she says it herself in this podcast, because Jamie asked her, like, how do you deal with all of this? Because she knows what's going on online 24/7, and she has very strong boundaries, she called it, where she's not letting all that negativity filter into her day-to-day life. If it's something that is like something she must know, if someone, I guess, were like threatening her life or some ish like that, or she even said if it's something that she would learn from, or if it's an article that, explained a situation the correct way, then okay, maybe. But there's a lot of stuff that are just flat out not true. And Jamie was telling a story about how she went to an event with Meghan, and she was excited about it and was like posting, and next thing you know, there's like all these articles about Jamie and Meghan that simply were not true, completely inaccurate. So it's very apparent that like these articles are, media, they just want the clicks and the views. It makes them money. She's very aware of that. And what can she do but live her life? Like she said, she wanted to make time to go to a Broadway show. She did that last week. She was photographed out. Of course, people had things to say about that, but why can't she take the time off of her busy schedule where she's been working a lot? She's explained that process of, her doing her show and then doing As Ever in the product production and editing for the season 2 of her show. It's a lot. It is a lot. And then being a mom and being a wife all on top of that. It's massive. And I commend all mothers out there. So I'm not trying to make it just seem like, oh my God, Meghan is amazing. No, all mothers who work and are married and take care of home, and like, I admire all of it, because I don't even know. Like, I come home from work, I have a cat, and I just take care of myself and my cat, and that's quite enough for me right now. So I just commend you all. But she was very real and down to earth to me and authentic, and I know that some people disagree from what I've seen in the comments, but there's a reason why she is where she is. There's also a reason why people love to hate her, because she has that it factor that you can love to hate, or you are a fan of her. But either way, you're clicking, you're viewing, and in a lot of ways putting money in her pocket, because the more relevant she is, the more people are talking about her, the more deals she's gonna get. If nobody talked about Meghan Markle, similar to Kate Middleton, nobody's offering Kate Middleton a podcast, a Netflix show. Not that she could probably do it given all the royal protocols, but still, like, the personality for that and the charisma and the attention is just not there for Kate. So this is something that Meghan is kind of making lemons into lemonade. People want to talk shit. They want to have her name in their mouths 24/7. Okay, I'm going to make a business. And y'all are going to report on it. They gave her free fucking PR for her product, trying to prove her wrong with her, I believe it was like the raspberry preserves or the jam or whatever. They were trying to prove that it was nasty, so they put it up against some other jams and spreads or whatnot. But all of the people who tasted the jams in a blind taste testing liked Meghan's the best. Free PR. Free PR. I saw a lot of people screaming, why does nobody show the back of the nutrition label? Why is nobody turning the jar around so we can see the nutrition label? Why do you want to see the nutrition label so bad so you can go through and try to find something wrong with it and try to say that Meghan Markle's poisoning the masses? Raspberry preserves? It's like these things that people don't even realize how it sounds. And she's just like, look, I've been made a barrier of it. I'm not even seeing it. So it's like y'all are screaming this ish out into the void, and it's not even getting to the person that you want it to affect because she's blocked it out. And it's on a need to know basis. So I was very glad to hear that she's just like not having any of that, and her and Harry are very much in love. She called him a fox and spoke about how hot he is. And Jamie, the podcaster, she shared a letter that Harry and her kids had written for her, and she got a little teary-eyed. The podcast person, Jamie, is also a friend of Meghan and shared how good of a friend she is and how Meghan had a date night planned with her and Harry. She calls him H. But she had a date night planned, and I guess Jamie was going through it that day and called up Meghan and was needing her friend, and Meghan canceled her date night with the Prince Harry and was at her friend's house consoling her and checking on her. So that's a good friend, and she's just like, she's like, I'm the same person I've always been. And she's just like, I don't understand. All the people who know me, who really, really know me, are like, you're the same. We don't get it. We don't understand. So it's interesting to hear her perspective and hear her open up more. She did do the panel at the Times 100, and so she did this podcast. So she's definitely opening up more and sharing more. She did also post on her IG pictures of Lilibet and Archie, and they really do have that red hair going through. Like, I'm so shocked. Like, I knew that gene was strong, but like, my goodness, their hair is red. Okay, so no denying their fathers. Okay, I know they probably have tried to get that out there, that Harry's not even the kid's father or some ish. Nah, he cannot deny those babies. Those are his. But she's definitely being more open, and that means, I guess, she's feeling more comfortable. And she's also said, I really liked that she's at the point where she's confident in herself, she knows who she is, and whether it's criticism or praise, it's not really affecting her because she's settled with who she is. I mean, of course, at times she gets self-conscious, but she's really not thinking about what other people are thinking about her, because she wouldn't be able to do all that she's done if she was, especially with all the critics out here just waiting and praying and literally banking on their downfall, on her downfall. So I was just happy to see her on the podcast. Very casual, very laid back. Loved it. So I want to know what you guys think. For the most part, people who comment don't really like Meghan and your feelings are valid. I find it very interesting still. And honestly, if you like just popped on like one of these videos, this all started with me covering Meghan Markle and Harry because I was always just so fascinated how this woman gets all of this attention and people just talking about her 24/7 in such a negative way, and she's seemingly just living her fucking life. That like it amazes me still to this day that people give her that much energy. Yet anyway, I'm not even gonna go on a tangent. I'll leave it there. I think that she is going to have more projects coming. As she said, she's working on new products for as ever, and she's really going to be focusing on the hosting hospitality realm. So I see probably like room fresheners, things you can put in little baskets when you have company, maybe some towelettes. I don't know, little things you put in the drawer that have like, what is it, the patchouli that has like the different little things in it. I don't know. She's good with that stuff. So there's more to come apparently, and I will be on the lookout. But until then, I hope that you guys have a great rest of your day wherever you may be in this crazy, crazy world.